Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Chat Paniters, for your help. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. I was reading something on how Trump and Republicans have begun to do everything they can to make sure that they win in 2026 by cheating and gerrymandering and everything else. And I was so upset the usual, and time flew by, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 11:58. And it seemed like 2 seconds ago when I looked at the clock, it was like 11:50. Okay, having said that, please, if you would like a reading from me, the link to my website is below the video, psychicmilou.com, or please feel free to call me or text me on my YouTube number. And please subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. That would help me too, and give me a thumbs up if you like the program. Okay, like do you guys remember a while back I said the notion that Trump was only going after immigrants was baloney. It was only the beginning, really, of something much bigger. Last night, I'm sure many of you saw it as well, that young gentleman, he's a veteran. I'm going to look for his name because I think it's important. One second. Okay, they didn't have his name on. I wrote it down. I thought it had his name, but it doesn't. Army veteran and U.S. citizen arrested in California. Immigration raid warns it could happen to anyone, and basically that's why I put him in the title, because I did talk. I did warn everyone when Trump started, I'm going to go after criminals, and I said, that's not true. He's going to do the worst than that. And also, do you guys remember, well, some of you, a few of you used to watch my, when I used to do my finance stream on Wednesday evening. I don't know how many of you who are present here, when I used to do it, I mentioned how I'm seeing other things, and I'm seeing a picture of him, that's why I said Trump. How the wealthy, they want us hungry, worried, sick, okay, and they're thinking that that's what's going to give them the freedom, okay, because we'll be too busy scrounging things to eat. Basically now, my new word for it since yesterday or the day before yesterday is transforming this country into like Russia, because Russia, there is no infrastructure, nothing, okay. They collect tax or however they do it over there, and it goes into the pockets of the well-connected. And that's what Trump is trying to do in this country. And if you look at Project 2025, where it says unleash the military, do away with Social Security, among a whole bunch of other stuff. I mean, at that time when I made that prediction, that was the last thing. I mean, I didn't think they were going to do it that way, okay? But the end is the same, to reduce us to nothing. But let me digress to what I was talking about. I simply mentioned that because I wanted to mention Project 2025, and also that young gentleman who said that, okay, the connection is, if you listen to the testimony of Americans or even immigrants who were detained, they did not tend to their medical needs, if they are taking medications or anything. Intuitively, I feel, and I said that In fact, at the beginning of COVID, Republicans don't care about our well-being. All they care about is fill up the pockets of their rich friends, thinking they're going to have a happy life and a great life. As long as they are fine, they and their family and their families are fine, they don't care about anyone else. And that's what we're seeing happening now. And listening to that young military vet, his name is Retis. I believe, let me see if any of you posted it down, because usually you guys remember the names better than I do. But I think his name is Retes. I think it's important for me to, I have it, but I'd have to go look for it. The other thing is, intuitively, I feel what they are trying to do, it's not going to work. Even if they were to succeed, it would cause so much problem for them. This country cannot, Americans will not accept that lifestyle in this country, the notion that they can't eat, they don't have a place to live. There would be a revolution. And I feel that's where, if Trump were to succeed, and Republicans, not only Trump, it's Trump and Republicans, oh, forget it. It's not going to work. But to go back to what I was saying, the young vet, I believe his name is Retis. If you got any of you remember, please let me know. I thought I wrote his name down and I didn't. And the where I thought his name was, it was not there. They don't care about anybody, and if they could do it to him, they would do it to any of us. And I said that, I think I've said it, none of us are safe. I don't know if it was yesterday I said it or the day before yesterday. And that young gentleman saying that he's a vet, okay, resonated and it validated what I have been saying. Vought and Heritage Foundation, Miller and Trump, they don't care by any means necessary. I've been focusing on them. They will get to where they want to be, which is a unity presidency, a unity government. And that's what Trump is trying to do clumsily. It's not really Trump ideas. He just bark the orders or whatever it is that Vought and company, the direction they want, their policies. That's basically, Trump is a rubber stamper. That's all Trump is. Because if you have been watching him the past couple of days, he's really declining. I'm talking about mentally, okay? Even yesterday he mentioned he was bad-mouthing the Fed chief, and he forgot he's the one who nominated him, among a bunch of other things. We only have a few minutes here. Our time is precious. I don't want to get into all those details, but you guys know what I mean. For some reason, I told you guys a while back I did not see Trump in the White House, and it's because he's not in charge. I know he's there, don't get me wrong, but psychically, intuitively, I don't see somebody who's involved in discussion and making decisions. No. So, the people who are in charge, and they told him, don't worry, okay, and since he believes in what they believe as well, and that's why he keeps bringing his uncle, who was a professor at MIT, okay, that's to show you he's superior, okay, and since that's what he believes in, and Vought, and for now, Vought, Miller, and others, can keep him there so he can enjoy those perks and being king, because that's how he views himself. That's why he puts gold all around, all over the Oval Office. Okay, as long as he feels his seat, being king, is safe, he's going to continue doing what he's doing. And the Republicans and those guys fought is part of the team of people. When it's at the right time, they will turn on Trump and have him removed, however they're going to do it. Okay? And that includes people in the House and in the Senate. Okay? But that young gentleman, the young vet, is correct. And the other reason why I am mentioning him is to show you they don't care about anybody's well-being. If you die, just like Oman said not too long ago, people die, who cares? Until it's his death or somebody close to him. Then, oh my God, people are dying. I didn't know people die. You know what I mean? Until it touches them, they don't care. If it's anybody else, no big deal. And also, there are two, I believe one is in the House, one is in the Senate, Ralph Norman and Tuberville. I wrote the name down. That's important. That was important to me too. I wanted to mention that this morning. They said that's to show you how sick, because those guys, to me, and to Woody, are true believers, how sick they are. They were asked, because in fact they were talking about the young vet I'm talking about, okay? And they were telling them, how do they feel about American citizen being ensnared, being, detained, although with, spending time in detention for no reason. They are citizens. And they try to convince ICE that they are citizens, but they take them to prison anyway. They said they don't care. Can you imagine this? And I believe it's Norman that said that. He said American would be better served, citizens would be better served not to be around on people who are undocumented. I should have expected this, but that's to show you what they are trying to do. And Republicans are all in. They've never experienced dictatorship. And those guys think, let's go for it. Because what they are doing is, you have the super rich, Bezos, Elon and company, okay? You have the government, and then you have us. And those people are all in. Because if you look at Russia, that's the structure. If you look at where that guy is, the Trump tutor, okay, Orban, okay, that's what he's been trying to do in Hungary. You have the super rich, he can get anything he wants from them, call and get whatever he wants. You have the government who is oppressing the people. And that's what they're trying to do here. And Republicans are all in. But my friends, please don't get scared. Intuitively, I don't feel they're going to make it. Okay? But I have to let you know when you hear people say certain things. And that young gentleman, that young Army veteran, Mr. Redis, I believe that's his name, he's not just talking or being angry or being emotional. And what he said resonated with me, and that's what I've been saying to you. They don't care. Just like Norman said, I believe he said it last evening, last evening he said it, because I was watching a clip. I don't know. I don't think it was real time. I saw a clip of him saying it. It was on CNN. Manu Raju, in fact, is the person that was that interviewed him. That's how they feel. And if Trump were to succeed and Republicans, these guys think their life would be perfect. And they don't think about their families either, because they think that everything is going to be perfect. You know, they will always be above, the little people. Like that woman, that super wealthy woman from New York City said, the one who went to prison over taxes, that said, she's the one that said, only little people pay taxes. Remember that one? Yeah. So they think they would be above everybody. They're part of government. I have news for them. It doesn't work that way. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I am sure you guys saw what happened in the Senate this morning, how Grassley rushed through, or is rushing through, Bove's nomination and his confirmation to the appeal to the appellate court. And somebody said Trump will nominate him to the Supreme Court. Yes, that's true. I didn't mention him because there is nothing to predict here. We know how things are working, or will continue to work, as long as Trump is in the White House. Okay? To me, there is no prediction here. But one of you asked me, okay, or a couple of people probably asked me yesterday, if you watch Grassley's behavior when the senator from Jersey, Booker, was speaking, okay, he turned his back while they were voting before. As all Democrats were walking out, he turned his back. And I could not believe. Booker said, Mr. Chairman, I know your heart. You're a good man. Why are you doing this? No, he's not a good man. And he's a lowlife. Because he's been working with all of you, but he's doing the con man, the fraud, who's in the White House, bidding for him. So the notion that he has a good heart, he's a good man, is not true. I don't understand what Booker was talking about. But the reason why I didn't mention him is because he's going to be confirmed. We know the deal, okay? And I said that last year, okay? I said, the minute a Republican become president, Alito and Thomas will retire. And that's whose spot Bove is going to be one of them. I don't know which one will go first. Okay, whether it's Thomas will probably go first. For some reason, I'm leaning towards him, but don't hold me to that. Okay, Trump will fast track. I mean, that's why he's being put on that appellate bench, and then he'll just send him straight to the Supreme Court. But intuitively, I feel there's a bit of hope here. Okay, I feel people the Trump administration or regime put in place in key positions, two things can happen. They will be impeached and removed, or the number of justices in the court will increase and render them, impotent. They won't be able to do anything. I don't know which one, but that's what I am getting intuitively. I don't know which way the next Democratic president will pick. But expect this country is not going to get back to normal intuitively, unfortunately, okay, when the next president comes, I'm not talking about events taking, during the balance of Trump's time. I'm talking after. There's going to be a rebalancing because, like I said, if you look at Project 2025, their goal, I just couldn't believe we worked so hard, paying to Social Security, and they're going to take it away from you. Yeah. So, and there are a number of other things. I have it. One second. I think that was one of the worst things. Okay, I got it. One of the worst things. And, they are talking about banning anything that has to do with gender and African Americans. Okay. Reduce, that's the other thing that surprised me. Tax cuts for major corporations and 1% while increasing taxes on the rest. Us. I just couldn't believe those things when I read them. But intuitively, I feel, I'm just saying the amount of work the next president is going to have to do. And as I'm saying this, what I am hearing is this is going to backfire on Trump's face, just like the Epstein file. He doesn't know which. I'm going into another subject because he's doing everything he can. Like I told you, he was going to use everything at his disposal to change the subject. This morning, he's sending Bundy's visiting Alcatraz. A whole bunch of stuff. He fired Comey's daughter last night. All those things are to distract, get you angry, you know what I mean, lose your mind, set your hair on fire. No, when I heard it, I wasn't surprised because he's doing what he said he was going to do, revenge. And I expect him to do some worse thing. There are worse things to come. But you see, they are making one major mistake. They think this is going to work, and they're expecting everyone to just lay back. All this is happening because I heard from a video, I don't remember if it was TikTok or something, a veteran said, military veteran said, veterans will take the lead to counter this. And intuitively, when I heard that, I wasn't surprised because that's what I've been predicting. Okay? I hope it doesn't happen, like I've been saying, because these people have no idea, Vought, Miller, Trump, and others, what they are doing and how this can turn out. But I believe that veteran, I don't know his name, but I don't think he's well known. I've never seen him before. But anyway, a lot of things that they're doing right now, like those 3 Marines, Mr. Barranco's Narciso Barranco, his 3 Marine sons. Yes, they're happy their father is home, but we don't know how angry they are, and things that are happening to others, and it's on TV. Even people who are not victims of what the Trump regime is doing, and ICE and all that stuff, and even ICE, by the way, they are beginning to revolt. And I said that last week, or the beginning of this week. I said, expect some and the ICE ranking file not wanting to go along with what they are doing. And I believe it was, oh no, it was a video on YouTube, okay? That is happening as we speak. The blowback for this, they have no idea. And I'm hoping, I'm praying, what I'm seeing and feeling does not happen. But it seems like Vote and Heritage Foundation think they're going to win. I'm not quite sure how I should put this. I'm seeing his picture and his wife. And I mentioned him before, I'm just seeing them again. If one of you can please remind me, it's a country in Eastern Europe. He was a dictator. They removed him and his wife. They were so arrogant, just like Trump. They really, they decapitated the whole thing. I'm going to put it that way. Depending on how far along Miller and Vought pushed this situation, does anybody know who I'm talking about? I'm sure some of you know who I'm talking about. Not Marcos. Thank you very much, Sailor Gabby. Sailor Gabby, yes. Should ask you. Remember I make that prediction. I'm hoping it doesn't get to that point. Okay, I've said it before, but I don't dwell on these people. But I'll forget the name anyway because I was never good at remembering people's name. I don't dwell on the name. It's the energy. Unfortunately, that's one of the shortcomings of being a psychic. You don't focus on the name, you don't care. But anyway, there is potential for something like that. And it will be because of some of the things that they are doing. There is that young Haitian lady, in fact, in Florida, so many who died in detention. So to this day, nobody knows why. Okay, this is the one I know about. Okay, because it could have happened to a member of my family. You know what I mean? Either whether you are Mexican, regardless. But I remember that one. I know there are many others who have died in detention because they were ignored. Just like I said earlier, from that vet. Okay, you don't care. If you have a medical condition, they don't even ask you. They don't even give you water, food, or anything. These things, just like you see happening in Haiti, and that's what happened after Papa Doc. Baby Doc couldn't hold on anymore because people just took to the streets, and he had to run. But let me tell you something. I'm praying this doesn't happen, but intuitively, my prediction is, and I've said this before, those Bezos, Musk and company, they think they're just going to get into the jets and leave. When people are angry, they've never experienced this before in this country. We've never experienced this. It's not going to be pretty. People get very creative. And the way they are squeezing people right now, because if you notice what Trump is doing, he's basically increase our taxes without telling us anything because of the tariff. He's forcing us in some ways to pay down the debt while he's giving his buddies a tax break that they don't need. People are losing their lives for nothing. He's going to be incarcerating people. If you look at the Project 2025, their intent is to use the military. Okay, let me look for it. I'm sure some of you probably saw it. Okay. Promote capital punishment and speedy finality of such sentences. Condemn single mothers while encouraging a tradition family. One second. Dismantling the FBI and Homeland Security. That's what they're doing right now. Use the military to break up protests. We spoke about that. I just... one second. But the point I'm trying to make is I can't find it. Okay. The way they are going to go about systematically destroying the fabric of the American dream and the American way of life is going to cause, it's going to be crazy. I hope it doesn't get there. I don't think they will, but that's their goal, and it's frightening. And they're spelling it out. Thank God they're letting us know what they're going to do. And I'm saying to you, they will do it. The only thing, they're not thinking. They think they have the leverage. They don't know about people power. But I hope they look at Ceausescu and Saddam. What happened? Dictatorship never ends well for the dictator and the people around them. Let's see what happens. I don't think it's going to, intuitively, that's the picture I'm getting, okay, when I focus on, with the person who, I've been getting it, I've been feeding it to you little by little, but after I watched that young veteran last night, he was on MSNBC. I forget his name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. He's on at 8 o'clock, okay? And also I was focused, after I heard that, what that vet said, I'm like, okay, I got to tell you guys intuitively what I feel is gone, because none of them mention any of the things that I'm sharing with you. But that's why I watch certain people, that is so that intuitively I can tell you potentially what's to come if they get to a certain point. Okay? But I am not seeing them reaching that point, because I'm hoping Democrats have some very good tacticians. Black people have fought this war before. A little different, okay? I feel they're going to be very helpful, but Democrats need some very good tacticians to counter everything Trump and the Heritage Foundation are doing to keep us from getting to that critical point where all hell can break loose. But if they get there, it will be very bad. People are not going to go and allow the notion that they can't eat, they lose hope, because that's what keeps this country successful. The way they are canceling medical research. And Russia, they do the same things. I'm not a Russian expert, but I have a lot of Russian friends, and I talk to them, and I have a pretty good picture. I used to work with a bunch of Russians. And when was that, yesterday or the day before yesterday, somebody in the Trump environment was talking about the direction, and I was picking up Russia, what they're going to do. And I kept picking up Russia. But just like he cannot stop the Epstein stuff that's out of hands, his atrocities will only make things worse. Like I said yesterday, there are a number of things on the table, okay? All those different activities will put Trump on a very bad footing. He will lose his base, and he will become at the mercy of the House. Republicans who hate his guts will go after him. They're in combination with Democrats. And let me tell you one thing. I said it yesterday, but it's worth repeating. Except for people like Tuberville and I forgot the name of the other one, Norman, okay? Those MAGAs, Trump's support in the House is not that strong. The majority of them are looking for a way to trip him because they don't like where because if you notice, everything benefits Trump. And everything he does is to make the lives of those people more difficult. And this morning, if you look at Grassley's behavior, it was disgusting to me. I couldn't believe. When I first came to this country, I remember Senator Moynihan, among others, when Nixon was in the White House. Those people were giants. And I'm looking at Grassley today. To me, he looks like the people who were lucky. They, through favors and being in their position for thousands of years. And he's in that position, and he's, instead of doing something to benefit the country, well, I guess he thinks it's going to benefit the country in some ways if he believes dictators are better than democracy, maybe, But he looks so small and like such a low life. It's unbelievable the way he turned his back on Democrats. And I'm glad they walked out. The only thing Booker is a great guy, but I was disappointed this morning in him trying to keep a dialogue with his colleague. When these people do that, they are not your colleagues. They don't even see you as a human being. And the same, let me tell you, so I've seen this growing up in Haiti, although I was young, okay? People who did what Grassley did this morning will badmouth you with people in government, and they'll have you killed. In fact, his name is Tony Wome. He was older than I grew up with him in Haiti. I came here, I left him behind, but he was a few years, probably about maybe at least 4 or 5 years older than I was. He got killed. You know why? He was not a group of people, friends, they asked him to lend them money, okay? And he said he didn't have it. But since he was working in the tax department, they says, well, you can take it from there. Because he didn't give it to them, they got angry. They went and framed him, basically, lie about him. Guess what? He got killed. He was shot. Yeah. In fact, he used to play music. Okay, in those days, a lot of neighborhoods had bands. They used to call them mini jazz. It was a lot of fun in those days, although the Makuts were running around. But if that's what Trump is trying to do here. If you don't get into yourself involved into politics, then you're safe. He was a guitarist. I can't pronounce it. You know, he played the guitar in one of the bands that was. There were two bands in my area. Okay, so his picture is in one of those covers for one of the bands. Okay, so people like Grassley reminds me of the guys who got that kid. He was a young man, probably in his, maybe when he died. I was here when he died, when they killed him. But when I was looking at Grassley this morning, the type of people he thought were his friend, he says, no, I can't go and steal, because he got scared. If he took money from the government, give it to them, okay, then he's putting himself at risk. He may get killed when they come and ask him to, what happened? Where's the money? You know? But they framed him anyway and got him killed. That's Grassley. That's what it reminded me this morning. Those type of people doing Trump bidding and they think he's going to be fine. By the way, those guys too, from what I understand, they got themselves into trouble. But I don't know all the details, so I can tell you that story. What goes around comes around. Karma. Okay. But since, you know, Booker doesn't have my experience, he thought he could reason. When you are in that situation, you have to understand where you are. People like Grassley, Tillis, Thune. No. This is a whole, but they don't know, a whole different playing field now. Oh my God. Sorry, friends, I didn't realize what time it was. But I would be shocked if Bove doesn't make it. I feel Trump was already giving the order, and that's what they are doing. I think he's going to make it. He's going to become an appellate judge. And the Comey firing, I wasn't surprised. But intuitively, I feel like saying that's my prediction for that young lady. She will have the last laugh. And thank God, you know, they'll be okay financially. Obviously, you know, her father was in the FBI. He's a very smart. I mean, I'm not a fan of Comey, but Lord, she'll be fine. She won't have any financial issues. If it happened to someone like myself, I would worry. Confirmed. Hang on a second. Gloria Milou, is Bove going to be confirmed? Yeah. Sorry. That's what I'm talking about. Was that you who asked me the question, Gloria? I mentioned it earlier. Shane Gray says, Milou, do you see Trump having a health episode soon? I don't know if it's going to be soon, but I've said that about 6 or 7 years ago. The only reason why he's still okay is because there was a story, and I was explaining the situation here. They have some fantastic medication, anti-cholesterol, among other things that they give him. That's why he's still around. Otherwise, he would have had a heart attack and gone a while back. I have a feeling as we speak, he's deteriorating, but we just don't know. You are correct. But I don't like to dwell on those things. You know, I mean, if something is too obvious, I tend not to, you know, because like the minute you saw his ankle, I brought it to you guys' attention, and I mentioned it again yesterday because a lot of you have asked me, and I thought that yesterday was important that I mentioned it because the picture is out there, and some people didn't believe me at the time, and this time there is no denying it. Okay. I'm looking. Thank you, Diana Canales, for reminding everyone to please give me a thumbs up if you like the program. I would appreciate it, and it would help the algorithm keep the video in people's feed, so that will help me a lot. Sophia T says, I mean, what's your thought about former FBI James Comey? His daughter, yeah. I mean, his daughter was fired by Trump. Yes, I was just talking about that. She was investigating Epstein files and Diddy. Yep. You know, like I said, my prediction is she's going to have the last laugh. Okay, everything Trump is doing is gonna, like I said earlier, it's gonna explode in Trump's face and people around him. So hang in there, my friends. You know, I'm hoping. To me, there is a turning point. Okay, because if the activities that Trump is ordering ICE to conduct in this country, another 4 or 5 months, because as they move along, okay, there are going to be a ton of victims, and Americans are not taking this well. It feels like to me intuitively, 4 to 6 months after that, it's going to get very dangerous, because you never know how people are going to react. That's what concerns me. All right. Sorry about that, friends. Tomorrow I will start early, 12:45. They're coming to help me. So I just want to let you guys know. Thank you, everyone, for spending time with me. Thank you, chat managers, for your help. I appreciate it. If anyone would like to a reading from me, please feel free to call me or text me on my YouTube number. If you like the channel, please subscribe, and also don't forget to tap on the notification bell. Please give me a thumbs up. That would help me a lot as well. Somebody said something. Gloria said, thanks, there was a commercial interruption, what you were saying. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought when they put an ad, they wouldn't just close the ad. I think when they put those, I don't remember how they called them, but you can just turn it off. All right. Because I reduced I'm still trying to figure out where I can automatically uncheck so that you don't have many ads anymore. Every day after I stream, I will go about 30 minutes to 1 hour. I'll go and manually delete the stuff. Okay, friends, I will see you all tomorrow unless something major happens later. Till then, bye.